Welcome to Access a Trader, the #1 community for those who are committed to taking control of their trading in order to achieve success, profitability, and longevity. Thank you for joining us. Here's Dan Shapiro to help you find your edge, master your process, and own your future.
Hey guys, good evening everybody. Welcome to another edition of the AccessATrader.com nightly wrap-up show. Happy Tuesday. Hope everybody is doing well. Guys, again, take a second out, support the channel. All it takes is a second. Doesn't cost you a dime. Click a like, support. If you haven't come aboard already, subscribe, and hopefully, again, I will continue to do my best. So, earnings seasons is all underway. Mixed bag. Technology continues to not do well in earnings season. Again, we talked about Intel's numbers. We talked about IBM's numbers. Tesla obviously didn't have a good quarter as well. Google did. We'll talk about Google in a second. Netflix, even though it had a pretty good quarter, got sold off. And now you're starting to see other names, right? You got Spotify this evening. Well, taking a pretty big move, right? Pretty big move down. Spotify down 11.5%. You have even financials, right? You got Visa getting hit. You got UPS, right? You got UPS getting hit. PayPal, right? PayPal getting hit. So as crazy as it seems, man, this is not a start of a really good quarter that the bulls want to see. But if you look at the numbers, for the exception of today, right, and that's the most important part, for the exception of today, they continue to be pretty decent. Market actually did sell off today, 200 points on the Dow, which is absolutely nothing, 0.4%. You got the S&P down 0.3%, and the NASDAQ has been absolutely going gangbusters, only down 0.3%. So the bulls are winning despite the weakness. But if you've been actively trading for the last 2 weeks or so, you kind of know what's been going on. It's been kind of like this pushing the ball into the end zone, but you really don't have a lot of energy. Lame. Yeah, you have like one or two names pretty strong, and then the other names just can't get out of their own ways. They can't really rally, but they can't really break down. A couple of names are breaking down. We'll get to them in a second, in a potential really big macro trade on one name as well. So the bulls are kind of like limping through this earnings season, and they're just trying to figure out how to survive. And we've been kind of talking about for the last 2 weeks is, look, guys, eventually when you get this linear market that runs out of steam, it's going to pull on you. It's going to absolutely pull on you. And if you saw the action this morning, you had pretty aggressive pulls on NVIDIA. You had pretty aggressive pulls on Meta ahead of earnings. Amazon ahead of earnings. That's a really, really big pulls. And the question is, well, how long can the bulls withstand this, right? I've seen this movie so many times. Again, I'm on my 26th year, guys. I've gotten caught in so many exhausted market rallies in my career you wouldn't believe. Now I don't know if I'm smarter for it, but I'm definitely less dumber for it. And now, tomorrow, we are getting some, pretty big numbers ahead, right? And the question is, can the bulls produce a good quarter, right? Tomorrow, we got Microsoft. Microsoft has been on an absolute, incredible run. Is this a scenario that they beat numbers and continue to push higher? Or is it going to be like an Intel? Or is it going to be like, something that came out with pretty good earnings, but it got sold? Again, to be determined. You got Meta, got hit today really, really hard, right? Got really hit today really, really hard ahead of earnings. The question is, again, the stock had a really big run. Well, is the market going to sell it, right? Is the market going to sell it? Because so far, we have not seen a quarter from the technology space that has been gone gangbusters. We'll get to Google in a second. Tomorrow, you also have ARM Holdings. ARM is actually holding up fairly well. Is it going to be one of those semiconductors that actually gaps and goes after earnings? We shall see, said the blind man. So we have a lot of names that are on deck both tomorrow and obviously Thursday. Let's see, Thursday, we got MSTR, we got Coinbase that had a really good downside pivot today. You have Amazon, you have Apple. So let's see, right? Let's see if the Bulls could continue going. But if you look at the value today, guys, if you look at the value, and we'll get to the pivots in a second, they were to the downside because, again, we were prepared for it. We were in talking about these levels for 2, 3, 4 days. Like CRWV didn't break down yesterday. CRWV broke down below 120. We talked about that 120. I gave you guys that 120 level on the last Thursday night's update, right? This is a free-for-all. Coinbase got downgraded yesterday, right? Might as well get to the pivots, right? So there was only 3 pivots that confirmed. The first one it's actually the last one that got confirmed. And this is a biggie, right? This is a biggie, potential biggie. So CRWV got hit. That they're starting to pull these IPOs, right? So Circle, we talked about in last night's video for a potential big macro spot. Well, it lost its 2 big macro spots on the close. So 183.90, 182.50. If it builds below, it could finally lose the rising linear regression line that we talked about in last night's video. If you guys remember, if you go back to last night's video, Circle, even though it's been on a really, really big move down the last couple of weeks, it's been defended on this linear regression line. You see 1, 2, 3, 4 times, right? Today was the first close below this linear regression line, and it took down this whole range, including the 7-11 lows of 182.50. And now this is the lowest close in this whole formation. We saw a pretty big buyer step in for the 180.50 weekly puts. And we saw a really, really big buyer yesterday come in for 600 grand for the weekly 150s. Again, that might be a little ambitious, but in this type of environment, you never know. This is a type of tape that can go up, stairway to heaven and get pulled on one candle. But this is now the lowest close in this whole entire formation. If this thing confirms today's channel tomorrow, guys, look how much room you have. You have room all the way down to the July 1st hot lows of 171.50, and that kind of correlates with this rising upper Bollinger Band. So again, nice move down into the close on Circle. Let's see if there's a day 2. Tesla obviously didn't confirm to the upside. It kind of lost back its 50-day moving average. I'm not really thrilled by, how it's just lack of juice. But the only thing I could tell you is it is an inside day. If there is a glass half full going into Tesla for tomorrow, this is at least an inside day. Didn't take out the highs, didn't take out the lows, and you still have 3 days, actually 4 days now of higher lows, which is very, very important. And again, it did engulf its earnings report. So I want to give Tesla the benefit of the doubt. I would love to see it get back above the 50-day moving average tomorrow so we could start testing the highs from a couple of days ago and ultimately this 338. So I want to give Tesla the benefit of the doubt tomorrow. We did still see some pretty good call buying today, even on weakness on profit taking from yesterday. We did see some pretty aggressive 330 weeklies, some 335 weeklies, and this is when the stock was 10 points out of the money. So again, I want to give the bulls the benefit of the doubt there to reclaim back the 50-day moving average. But again, I am open to absolutely everything. So obviously, there was no trade today on Tesla, or at least from the technical point. I caught a nice little bounce at the open. Lumina didn't confirm. Airbnb didn't confirm. Stem Cell didn't confirm. SMCI gave a nice move. Congratulations for you guys who caught the move before everything really started reversing. SMCI closed at the highs with massive volume on expansion. We talked about this last night in the video. 59 and 57.50s are 2 bounce potentials. They never got there. It got to like 59.20s, but it didn't quite get there. So I don't think anybody got it on a bounce, but it did go red to green because it closed right at the highs of the day. And, it gave a nice move. It did give a nice move, went up about $1.70. Gave about pretty much, look at the move at the open. Gave, really a nice move here, about $1.70, and then it get rolled over just like everything else towards the end of the day. Again, that's kind of my point, that even if the strongest stocks, that they get tired, eventually there could be an aggressive pull. So folks, just be mindful. It doesn't have to happen, but be mindful. I'd rather always be a day early than a day late. Again, very, very important to understand that there is 2 sides of the market, and you can't be that arrogant, right? If you're trading for a short period of time and you're seeing a euphoric market, you can't be that arrogant to think it can't happen to you. You can literally lose a half of your performance in one candle that you took 2, 3, 4 weeks to develop. So again, be mindful, especially about chasing stocks that they're really, really big run. Google had a nice move, right? Google had a nice move. 194.33 needs to reclaim for a potential run to earnings highs. Google, good call buying today, guys. Non-stop weekly 200 calls. Here's the channel, this little baby channel. It finally got back above the 194.33 level. Pretty much closed at the highs of the day. Google looks great, folks. So, the earnings highs are 198. So let's see if Google can get there. But a nice move there, considering the weakness in the overall tape. And last but not least was Coinbase. Beautiful flush. So yesterday, Coinbase got downgraded, got hit really big. And today was second day, right? Today was the second day, 75.26. If it builds below, can flush more. Oops, here is Coinbase, right? So it took out yesterday's channel and traded all the way down to 65, a 10-point move. Big put buying, guys. A big put buyer came in for the 350s. I forgot which series, either next week's or weeklies. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But watch this thing for tomorrow if it starts losing today's channel as well for more downside ahead. And I believe that is it for today, right? I believe that was it for today. There's only X amount of pivots. So the moral of the story is, let's see what tomorrow brings as far as beta names earnings. Again, tomorrow we got Microsoft, we got Meta, we have ARM, but obviously Microsoft and Meta are going to be the most important ones. Watch Circle, guys. I'm telling you, watch Circle for potential continuation from today's breakdown. I definitely want to watch Tesla. The market guys can finally, get this thing going. It would be wonderful. But the most important part, folks, be prepared on both sides. It's something I try to hammer home every single day. We are prepared for both sides. I don't fall in love with stocks. I am falling in love with the process and individual channels. If you're interested in pivots, folks, again, a lot of you guys, you reach out to me on social media. All it takes is 30 days. All it takes is 30 days to see if it's a right fit for you. The worst case scenario, you at least experience something that you've never seen before on a day-to-day basis, at least puts you in a situation to break you out of the quote-unquote normal. Guys, God bless everybody. Have a great night. I will see you all tomorrow.